Hi, everybody. Lori Switzer here. Thanks for joining us today. We are here to recognize the volunteers who've crossed 1,000-hour thresholds of service to the museum. Midway is so grateful to all our volunteers for delivering our operational and financial success. I'm going to introduce 5 different department representatives today. Let's kick it off with our Air Wing Director, Walt Loftus.
Good morning. I just want to thank all my volunteers for all the hours and everything they do and hanging in here through this time. And want to recognize Dexter Ezernick for 7,000 hours. He's a retired Navy senior chief with over 20 years service. He retired from NADEP North Island after 33 years as a GS-11 quality assurance specialist. I had the privilege of working with Dexter when I worked at the depot too. Dexter has been with the Air Wing for over 19 years and brings the detailed knowledge, skills, and patience and experience needed for the restoration of the aircraft. His main challenge for me is to bring new people to him so that he can train them. He has worked on mostly every aircraft that we have here on the ship. His dedication to the restoration of the aircraft gives others the incentive to go ahead and work with him. Dexter has 8 older brothers who also served in the service and enjoys family time with his 3 great-grandchildren. He loves to reminisce about his military time and tell his stories about his childhood. I just want to thank Dexter for all of his service, and I just appreciate all of his efforts.
Thank you so much, Walt, and thank you, Dexter. You've been with us for many, many years now, and we really appreciate it. Our next presenter is Dave Hansen, our curator.
Thank you, Lori. Today it is my privilege to honor one of my most dedicated librarians. He should be no stranger to you, as he has been honored 7 times before. Hal Simons has now accumulated 8,000 hours volunteering for the library. Hal puts in more hours per month than anyone else in the library by coming in 5 days a week. He is our jack of all trades who can and does everything when asked. He is also our senior veteran of the librarians and is a Korean War vet. He is no stranger to aircraft carriers, having served aboard the USS Princeton CV-37 as an aviation electronics technician. Thank you for all you do, Hal. You're amazing. Back to you, Lori.
Thanks, Dave. Our next presenter is Chase Odell. He's Assistant Youth Programs Manager, and he has a participant from our radio team to recognize.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce and honor Rick Lowe for 2,000 hours of volunteer service. He is currently our lead for the radio team on board here. Rick Lowe is a Naval Academy graduate. He spent over 30 years in the United States Navy, retiring at the rank of captain, having spent his career in submarines, both on fast attack and ballistic missile subs. And after retiring in 2012, he continues to work for the Navy as a civilian in emergency preparedness, response, and recovery of nuclear-powered warships. So he continues to work in that field. Rick Lowe actually came to us in 2010 as a volunteer, so he was still on active duty. He was introduced to the program through Joe Karza, who he says was one of his mentors and good friends, who's unfortunately passed away. After 10 years of service with the radio team, following actually Hal, who was just honored, Rick Lowe took over the radio team in December of 2019. And what a time to take over such an important part of Midway's outreach with the coronavirus hitting. After only a couple of months of normal operations, as we shut down for COVID, Rick was instrumental in keeping the radio team going virtually, continuing the Midway's monthly outreach broadcast program, using all of the volunteers' efforts and resources working from home and virtually, and continuing to carry on the Midway's message. Since then, he's also ensured that the radio team has continued their support for our virtual youth and leadership, youth and virtual Boy Scout programs through radio support. And they're continuing to develop new curriculum to support our scouts and youth today. So he has done a tremendous job. His professionalism, his dedication, his ingenuity, and his enthusiasm just really resonate. And it's been a pleasure to work with Rick this last year, and we look forward to working with him for the next 1,000 hours.
Thank you, Chase. Appreciate that. Appreciate everything Rick does. Our next presenter is Bill McClurg from the safety team.
Good morning. As always, welcome all of you and recognizing everybody's hours. Very appreciative to all the safeties who have been coming aboard all these months, doing screening at the entrances, both for guests and for staff. It's a job that we got added with COVID, and as always, the safety team has risen to the occasion, and we appreciate their efforts and everybody's efforts in this safety environment that we're having to work in. And hopeful I'm going to do a lot of neat things in the next few days, get some messages about opening up more and more of our stuff. For all of you, I appreciate the 1,000-hour award. This particular safety, James Nothing. He retired, been with us from August of 2018, but he's a retired lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, which is a pretty significant place, especially as a pilot. Flew Harriers in the Marine Corps, had a significant career in the military. And then from there, he went to commercial airlines. And so I was trying to ask him what he did in commercial aircraft, because I'm thinking Harriers are not exactly commercial. And then I found out all the things he did, and I was amazed. I'm going to list this, and I'll probably get it wrong, but so he flew in a commercial American Airlines. He flew 727s, 737s, 757s, and 767s, which is a whole heck of a lot of sevens. But very active member of our safety team. Really appreciate his efforts with us, and look forward to continue to work with James. Number two for 2,000 hours is Charlie Campy. Charlie, unfortunately for me, is a law enforcement retiree. Worked for the San Diego County Sheriff's Department all the way through captain. He did funny things like SWAT and bomb, coordinating bomb disposal teams and that kind of thing. Real iffy kind of stuff that he did. But very active, very positive member of the safety team. Really love having him aboard. He's been with us since July of 2017. And he was in the Navy. He was a AB3 in the Navy back in my era, back in the late 60s, early 70s. But very distinguished law enforcement background, and we love having him on the safety team. For 3,000 hours, we have Steve Diebert. Steve is one of our people that came aboard, had the background in security. I also did some training in equipment operations, things like that out in the outside world. But he's been a very active member, both and he has worked with Paulette in outreach as well. But very active in our entertainment and event venues. Although we haven't had a lot of those, we're hoping to get those back. But very good member of our team, and good to have aboard. And for 4,000 hours, we have Art Van Roy. He's kind of another one of those people that had a distinguished career. He was a Navy supply officer, retired as commander. So he had a good long historical career with the military, and then went into the defense industry and got into petroleum management and a whole bunch of those kinds of things over a number of years. So he brings a whole wealth of organization, and another one of our people who has a very positive attitude, and really love having him aboard the ship. So that's for safety. Those are our great people aboard. We appreciate all their hours. Van Roy for his 4,000 is getting up there. And we'd like having, please everyone be safe as we think we're going to hopefully open up a lot more things in the coming days, and want to take our time and make sure we do it well, and enjoy having everybody back. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Bill. Our next presenter is our Docent Director, Jim Riley.
Well, good morning, Midway, or good afternoon, Midway, and thank you, Lori, for the intro. It's my great honor and pleasure once again to recognize 5 really outstanding docents for Hours Awards. They've achieved Hours milestones over the past month. Let me start with 1,000 hours, and up first is Roger Brady. Roger's been with us since September of 2016. He's an aviator and a airline pilot, flew for JetBlue for many years, and he is also a Midway sailor. And so, yeah, great to have you back, shipmate. Thanks for what you do. And we'll move on to next, Jay Parker. Jay joined us in June of 2017. He's a naval flight officer, also a Midway and Nimitz sailor, and he has the distinct recognition or honor of being one of the crew that survived an A3 major mishap, put the airplane in the water, and Jay survived and has lived to tell about it. It's a great story, and you see him, ask him. Next up after that is Gene Harris, celebrating 2,000 hours. Gene joined us in 2014 in May. He's a surface warfare officer, was an officer of the deck on the Saratoga, and became a city attorney in his private life. Once again, thank you, Gene, for what you've done, 2,000 hours. Now, moving on to 4,000 hours. First up, Ron Hartinger. Ron joined us way back in April of 2004. He's an aviator, served on the Ticonderoga and the Midway, so he's a Midway sailor and has flown many types of aircraft, including the E-2, the C-1, the C-2, multiple aircraft. And so thank you, Ron, for what you do. And also at 4,000 hours, Roger Ryan. Roger joined us in April of 2010. He's an aviator as well, Coral Sea sailor and Midway sailor. Was a fighter pilot flying F-4s and A-4s, had 650 landings on aircraft carriers, 650 traps. So, Roger, thanks for what you do. And that's it for the docents this month. It's great to see the crowd starting to come back. It's great to be able to have the tours and the talks filled up with people. So we're looking forward to a really great next couple of months. And back over to you, Lori. Thanks.
And that's it for today. It's just overwhelming what a wealth of knowledge and skills that volunteers bring to Midway, and we are so grateful for your participation. Thanks again for watching.